Hey folks, welcome back. Quick update for you on Tarkov. We got quite a bit of information from BSG this weekend at TwitchCon with some various interviews and tweets and things like that. Along with that, we got some first looks at some upcoming content. So let's get into it and get you guys up to speed. So first thing, the in-game event, the therapist event is over with for the most part. You can't get the achievement anymore. So if you didn't do it, you're not gonna get the achievement. The quest is gone. The raiders and batteries are no longer spawning in customs. However, the barters are still there. So if you have a bunch of batteries sitting around or whatever, and you don't want to sell them, they're still worth quite a bit of money. Though they have gotten quite a bit cheaper. You can get cards at least until the 5th. And that is per the tweet right here from BSG. But now as far as TwitchCon Europe, which there's a lot of information here, so we'll get through this bit by bit. Now, one thing I'm going to do is at the end of this video, I'm going to include the 2 interviews that I saw as the most important. One with Nikita, obviously, and the other with Yarolslav. These are only on a Twitch VOD, which means after 3 months they vanish. So I want to make sure they kind of get saved for posterity, or so people can go back and look at them. Plus, it's great for you guys if you don't see them or you don't want, you can go look at these yourself right here. You can watch the VOD yourself, the clip. I'll throw it in there. We'll throw it in there unedited, finish to end, so that if there's anything I editorialize or I get wrong, you can see it for yourself and make your own judgments. So just look for that. We'll bookmark it. It'll be at the end of the video. But we'll cover everything here. I'll talk about it so that way you guys know if you don't watch or if you just want the quick recap. So first up, we got the look at the new upcoming game mode called Blast Gang, and it's basically a bomb plant. So think CSGO, Valorant, or Search and Destroy, Call of Duty, stuff like that. It looks fun. I heard really good things from the folks who did play it there, but we'll just have to wait and see how it comes out when we all get to play it. Dimitri said we'd see it in about 2 weeks in some form or another. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be, if it's some kind of limited test or if this is just for everybody who has the game, but it's going to be there. Now, this seems like it's going to come with the next patch, which was also mentioned that the last patch of June that we didn't see, and it's already July, was going to be moved to July. So just, I think it's 14.95. And it's going to have some stuff for PvE and PvP and arena and all that. There's going to be more stuff there, hopefully a bunch of bug fixes too. One of the more interesting things to me was what Nikita talked about in his interview towards 1.0. We got some more detailed information than we've gotten in the past, which is always good because it fills in the blanks and it lets us know things we assumed wrong or maybe were missaid or have changed. Now, he said that there's no date yet, but they're going to doing some stuff. He hinted at hinting about the 1.0. And what I took away from that is that we're probably going to see some in-game events, maybe some ARS stuff or the ARG events, things like that, that are going to hint in some way or another, maybe not directly, maybe we don't even realize they're doing it towards the release of 1.0, at least information about it, maybe a date, probably not. But there's going to be a big event, a big thing done around the 1.0 release. It's not going to just be a surprise. Boom, here you go. Nikita also led on to some of the future plans with Arena. I mean, nothing crazy here. He talked about things like new locations we already knew, new game modes, which we already knew, maybe changes to fundamental functions. So I'm not sure what he meant about that. Talked a little bit about an Arena Cup series, but they didn't give us any information about that. So a lot of headline stuff, but not a lot of details, but it's just worth mentioning so that you know that they talked about it, or at least Nikita mentioned it. One thing he did get in depth with, though, that was really interesting to me was the stuff about 1.0 in the game loops after that. I don't know if it was the first time he used it, but it's been a while since he used the term seasons in referring to wipe cycles. We've already known, and he said it again, there's going to be a separate character, a separate profile, whatever you want to call it, that's going to go into these wipe seasons. Because base Tarkov, their plan was it wasn't going to wipe. You're going to do a playthrough. It's going to be kind of a quasi single player system, but with multiplayer, but a campaign you play through, and then that's that. There's no wiping. Maybe there's something that happens after, but they're going to add this second profile character that has wiping seasons with it. There's going to be prestige system in there that he said is going to be pretty advanced. What that means exactly, I'm not sure. But the things that you earn through this process is going to stay through wipes, like we're starting to see now with achievements and stuff. And then as well as each season having different rules or sets for each playthrough. He hinted at some ideas like this, the optional difficulty modifiers, like being able to remove your secure container so you don't have a secure container, and for doing that you'd get maybe more XP or something. It wasn't totally thought out. I wouldn't take any of these as hard, like that's what they're going to do, just rough ideas, maybe storyboarded stuff they talked about already. So that's cool. I like it. It's starting to get into that area of Path of Exile kind of style season stuff, which we'll see how they can do that. Totally different game. They won't be able to mimic what Path of Exile does, but something that's interesting. I think it's cool. He also talked a little bit more in detail about some of the DLCs, or at least reiterated some stuff we've heard over the years. The first one they're going to be working on a Scav Life DLC. This is going to be a specific separate area, the hideout. It's going to be an expanded game mode with tasks and specific missions for your Scav, where you can level up and upgrade your Scav. He mentioned the ability to play a boss and control your guards, stuff like that. So sounds cool. We'll just have to wait and see, but that's probably going to be their first DLC. And then some of the other ones, they have like a clan DLC planned, as well as a sniper DLC, which that perked my ears up. I know it's not the first time he mentioned it. I guess it was mentioned a very long time ago, but it's the first time I've ever heard it. So it was kind of cool hearing that they've got a plan for some kind of sniper DLC. And that was pretty much for his interview. That wasn't just bullshit talking or anything, you know, just bullshitting and talking and stuff like that. But there is some other stuff we got. They had the new factory map was available to be played at the convention hall there. So some people got their hands on it. And from what I gathered, just hearing from different people, is it's a reskin with some specific changes to areas like the underground and like the sky bridges and stuff like that, and some other stuff. But not really a complete overhaul, more of a remaster, if you will. So that's interesting. I have to see what that looks like. I'm anxious to see it. I'm excited to see Factory get kind of updated, as it's the oldest map in the game. Now, the next interview, actually was the interview was before Nikita's, but just the order we're going to do it now is the interview with Yarolslav, the chief product officer. Now, I talked with Yarolslav a ton last year at TwitchCon. He's the guy that answered almost all of my questions. He's a solid dude. He's good to talk to. He wasn't secretive about shit. He broke down all sorts of mechanics in the game on the back end and how they functioned and stuff like that, which has helped me understand the game better, which helps me explain the game to you guys and understand it better. So I'm a huge fan of Yarolslav. It was really cool to see him do an interview, so I was excited to see that. But some big takeaways from it. First off, again, patch 14.95 is being moved, pushed. It sounds like it's going to be in 2 weeks based on what Dimitri said. We'll see. That stuff's always subject to change. The next wipe is going to have a hardcore event at the start of the wipe geared towards veteran players, and it was in the discussion of map to map travel. So what it sounds like to me is that and he says it's going to go on for a while, and then things are going to kind of go back to normal, with the task or the abilities to do this will still be there, map to map travel. So what I'm wondering is, at the start of the wipe, you're not going to be able to get through every map. You're going to have to work your way through each map through their new map to map travel system. So it's still going to be instances. And this is my assumptions to this. This is from what I'm hearing. So I want to be clear there. This isn't what Yarolslav said from here on forward. So what's going to happen? Let me actually pull up the map. And this is what I'm envisioning. And I could be completely wrong here. I want to throw enough caveats out there because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I'm wondering if the way it's going to work at the start of the wipe is, when you load in, you're only going to be able to go to ground zero. And then you're going to unlock streets. And then you're going to unlock interchange, and then customs and factory and woods. And you're not going to be able to go to these maps until you do the map to map travel and maybe a task or something that goes along with that to unlock each area. Obviously not terminal. We're not going to see that until the end of the wipe. Or sorry, not the end of the wipe, until 1.0, I don't think. But this whole process here is going to be the start of the wipe, which I think is super, super interesting. I'm all for it. New players are going to get their ass kicked by it. Of course, they might like it too, because it's going to push the more advanced players off of the maps right out the gate, because people are going to be trying to progress and get through this. Nonetheless, it sounds like it's eventually going to be there. That option's still going to be there, but I don't know if there's going to be some kind of bonus, because it sounds like you're going to load into another raid, like as if you extracted from ground zero, you got into your hideout, you didn't do anything, and then you just went right to another streets raid, right, with all of the same gear on, which sounds pretty rough, but interesting. So we'll see. But that's coming with the start of the next wipe. So super kind of big news there. Probably, honestly, some of the biggest news we heard, and something I'm super interested in seeing how that pans out. Now, he mentioned as well the PvE mode is going to get some huge updates, not next week, whenever the next patch is, in the next 2 weeks, whatever it is, that 14.95 patch, where the PMCs are going to be more lifelike in the PvE mode. And that is going to be used as a stepping stone to make, as a test bed, if you will, for the bots in the PvP. So like the bosses and stuff, to make them more realistic and more player-like, so that even running into bots, you're not just running into either, brain dead, stand around target practice, or impossible to beat laser-eyed, the goons, essentially, kind of bots. And then the last bit that we got from Yarolslav is probably going to make some people happy. It's going to make some people sad. It is what it is. There's not going to be any major changes for the rest of the year. They're going to do events, they're going to do stuff like that, but no like big game mechanics that they haven't already been working on, right? Like, we're going to see bipods, but that's already been in the works. They're not starting anything new. There's nothing major changing mechanic wise as they work on stability and getting the game ready for 1.0. So that's Probably going to bum some people out because it's going to limit the amount of new content that's coming. But I think it's going to be a good thing if they can focus on and actually get some of the things like audio under control and some of the other stuff under control. So just remains to be seen. But that pretty much wraps up everything for my bit of this. We'll throw in Yaroslav's and Nikita's interview for you guys to watch yourself. Go listen to them. That way you can sort through what you think I was wrong or not. And that's pretty much it. But I appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Helps me out a ton. Lets YouTube know you want to watch these. But we'll wrap her up there. And we'll see you guys in tournament.
I'm very excited to get to talk to you. This has been such an incredible day so far. Chaos. Just so, I mean, the first Blast Gang match going to double overtime. Like, I think we've proven.
Nobody expected that yet, but yeah. That was really fun.
We've proven already in literally just a couple of games how exciting Arena is and is going to be as it gets more and more popular, as more people find the new game mode. But right now, we have a Q&A, and we have selected, I say we, I was actually nothing to do with this, but the developers have selected 10 questions from the community, from all of the forums and things like that. They've requested feedback, and we have 10 questions that are going to be fielded to Yaro now. And so I'm going to read them pretty much exactly as they're written because I want this to, this is from the community, okay? This isn't from me.
But give me a second before we start.
Yeah,
I want to say hello to the development team, the guys who right now are preparing the next patch. In the roadmap, it was mentioned it's going to be this month, but we have to move it for the start of the next. And the guys right now, it's a holiday in Russia and holiday everywhere. But they are preparing the patch, fighting with bugs, and I would just want to say hello to them. And that's it.
Come on, make some noise for the Escape from Tarkov development team. I know how hard that they have been working on this and on the new title. So look, let's jump into the questions.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Do we have any idea when 1.0 is coming out? And is it still planned for all of the maps to be unified? Or is that something that's going to happen at a later date?
That's difficult questions. I surely have the idea when the release is going on, but an honor to introduce the date is, of course, Nikitas, so he will do it. When? I don't know. It's a mystery for every one of us, so we'll just need to wait for Nikita's decision.
Okay, okay, cryptic, but hopeful.
Yeah,
I like that. Optimistic.
Yeah, about maps. So they're not going to be unified in a short period of time. So the next patch, we are preparing the feature where you will be able to travel between the locations. And first of all, in the start of the wipe, it's going to be like quite a hardcore event for players who know Tarkov really well. And it would be a challenge to finish it. It will have special achievement. But after that, after the end of the event, it will stay in the game, and you will be able to travel through all maps. And that's how I think it's going to be on the release also.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Question number 2. I'm saying it like it's the game show again. Sorry, I just got into the Jeopardy earlier. Are we ever going to see bosses do actual patrols and missions of their own, which maybe could be directly tied to what gear and loot they carry, instead of standing around in the same places for the most part?
Of course, yes. We have like a big roadmap of AE development and bosses and all the bots and scavs and all you see in the game. If we go a bit in depth, works in like they have layers of behavior and layers of how they react on different situations. For example, grenades thrown, contact, or maybe they're hiding somewhere, or maybe they're finding loot. And in the next patch, which is coming next week, we are going to add new layers for mostly PMC in PvE mode, because it's quite popular right now. But after that, of course, we are going to introduce these new layers and these new behaviors of bots and, of course, of bosses to the whole game. And, yeah, we will continue to improve and to make them more like people and more realistic and, yeah, more fun to play with them.
That is incredibly cool. Like, honestly, we're getting to a point where games have just become so incredibly detailed. And I can't even imagine the amount of work that goes into creating AI that are that complex.
Yes, it's a quite interesting process of developing them because it's really easy to make like imbalanced bots, which will be impossible to beat, and it's really easy to make them like in shooting range. So it's really easy to play with them. But the main point of what we are trying to do is a balance of hardcore mechanics and the players who are new to the game. And who want just to loot and to find some fun with them. So yeah, we are balancing them like every day.
But that is a tough mission. Are we going to get more freedom to do missions with weapons and gear that we want? Because for the first 45 levels or so, you kind of have to run around with bolties and shotguns, which makes getting the gear kind of redundant. Because by the time you're done with missions and you can use the gear that you've earned, some players experience quite a lot of burnout.
That's a question because we are always, as I said, we are always trying to find a balance between hardcore and fun. And the quests and like Jagger quest line, we know we are, of course, collecting all the feedback from players and we change quests and rewards for the quests like every big patch. But we still think that if a game have a challenge, if it has something that you don't like to do, the reward when you finish it, it's like a great emotion, and it gives you fun and motivation to play more. That's why, of course, we are going to change some of the quests, but hardcore quests and quests that you don't like, maybe in some point, will still in game because they make Tarkov.
Yeah. 100%, that makes sense. Is the game ever going to be optimized a bit better for the direction of content creation friendly, or to make it a bit friendlier for content creators, where the game looks a little bit higher quality while still remaining good visually, right? So finding that balance.
You know, the FPS and the performance of the game client is one of our top priorities. It's like every update, every patch, we are trying to do something with it to allow more players, to allow players with lower-end PCs play our game. And that's not only in case of streaming or for content creators, but for everyone. Performance is like one of the best priorities in gaining fun from gameplay. So yeah, in the summer patch and of course on release, we are planning a lot features and a lot of technical stuff related to performance. Of course, we are planning to update to Unity 2022 this year. And yeah, I think we will gain like 10 to 15% of performance till the release of the game.
Okay. This is the fifth question. Yeah. Is the Scav player mechanic ever going to get reworked so that they don't spawn early in the match? So even in the raid series, Scavs show up after PMCs and well after they made a lot of noise. And they're not exactly inside the perimeter, the third party, the shootout, and essentially they come from behind and flanks.
You know, the mechanic of how Scavs spawn and how players Scav are playing differs in the life cycle of wipe, and we also change it sometimes for events or when we want to like see some another type of info that we are getting from our raid statistics, and also. Scav Live DLC, after the release of EFT, is going to introduce a new vision of Scav gameplay.
Okay. So we're halfway through. How are you feeling, Yaro?
Great.
Yeah, you're feeling good?
Yeah,
you're doing
fun.
Fantastically. I gave him the mic and he was like, I don't know, I don't like that. But you've been doing really well.
Yeah, I don't like this thing near my face, but...
Hey, you're doing much, much better than most people I give it to. They start answering a question. And it comes back and it's in and around their mouth, but you're doing amazingly. So we're into the second half here, and I want to make this clear again for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning. These questions were taken from the Tarkov community. The devs have made it really clear that they care a ton about community feedback, and so these aren't my questions. Are we ever going to get the ability, well, nearly, to throw anything on the ground without it being destroyed, like it used to be before the fight with RMTers started?
Yes, we're thinking about that. As I said before, it's a balance and always fight with cheaters and with all the guys who are trying to illegally make money from the game. Is like, what can I say? We would be happy as developers to only work on features and adding as a content for legit players. But yeah, it's part of our work. We have to do something with, and we have to do some restrictions, of course. We are always working on improvements, the anti-cheat and like detections for RMT players. And it's getting better, and while it's getting better, we are lowering the restrictions, and of course we will try to lower them as much as possible.
Okay. Is anything being done about cheaters? I would like to know if the game is going to go back to focusing on players and fun. And you kind of mentioned this before, but instead of how to prevent cheaters and the real money traders to thrive at the expense of the community and player base.
Yeah, of course, as you can see, as I said before, and as you can see, PvE mode is quite popular, and of course, the part of its popularity is there's no other players, and means no other cheaters. But what I wanted to say, we spend really a lot of time and a lot of work in analyzing and finding cheats. We even buy cheats ourselves to understand how they work, and we like close some holes in the game code, like every wipe, and not even every wipe, every small update. But you know, you cannot like deal with them at all. There's like wars that won't finish whenever. But yeah, we of course mostly thinking about the fun gaining from gameplay, and the ability for players to have like no restrictions and to free their hands. But we have to. We want our game. We still want PvP as a main part of our game, and that's why we will never finish fighting cheaters. And of course, some restrictions will stay, but we will try to make them as low as possible, as I said.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do, right?
Yeah.
It is tough. Do we have a rough idea about what direction Tarkov is heading with all the audio changes being made? So a lot of community members are saying that the Oculus audio had its issues, but that it was more consistent than it is now.
Yes, that's true. What can I say about the sound system that we have? We've chosen the hard way. That's because in most games, as you know, sounds from someone is moving or shooting or whatever, working like you can directly hear from where they're coming. But in real life, it's not the case. If you're in the building or if you are somewhere in the high ground and the sound is in the low ground, you cannot directly understand where it's coming from. And we are mostly creating our understanding and our system to be again in the balance of realism and gameplay. And of course, I know that there are a lot of issues with audio, and we are like changing stuff and also implementing new stuff. But I think in the end, in the release, we will find the way to introduce like new new in each case and new for every player experience of immersive audio in shooters.
Honestly, I can't believe how hard you guys work to make sure it's all so realistic, but then finding that balance.
But that's the best work in my life, so I cannot like complain about it.
Are there any plans to rework other maps? Like, so just for context, Factory, the very first map ever in Tarkov, has been remastered. You can actually play it in the land zone over there if you do want to check that out. But we have a question saying, are you going to do that with other maps as well?
Surely we do. Some updates and some new like territories of locations may even come with in-game events. But big updates and big like remastering of locations are also planned. I won't announce again which one is the next, because the next is a factory. You can try it here, and you will be able to try it soon when the patch is coming this August.
Okay, this is the last question, which I'm sad about. We've gotten through this too quickly. I was enjoying this, Yaro. While we do have estimates for all the updates till wipe, what can we expect for the rest of the year in terms of technical and quality of life improvements? We saw recently a lot of good changes were made to make the game more appealing. Is it something that Battlestate Games is still considering prioritizing in the near future?
Yeah, I think we are mostly concentrated on the stuff we presented at the roadmap in case of quality of life, and in case of technical stuff, it's of course my priority number one is Unity version upgrade. So the engine will allow us to do many things in case of performance and in case of working with our inventories. So we are preparing an ability to work with your hideout and with your inventory while loading into raid. That's what was asked by community for many years. And also all the stuff which was included in the roadmap, we mostly prioritized by polls and by feedbacks collected with our community managers from the community, from what quality of life people want. We try to do them firstly. So yeah, there will be a lot this year. But what I wanted to say is that like the core team, the main guys are preparing the release content. We already have a lot of it done, but there's still like huge story over it, and we have to deal with it in a short time. So yeah, there's not going to be like a lot features, like game-changing features this new year, because we will be concentrating on preparing the release. But there's still going to be a lot of events and fun this year in EFT, and yeah, we are happy to have you all playing EFT, and yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was incredible. Thank you so much for coming up. Look, give him a round of applause, please. I've been talking to Yaroslav. Questions from the community, incredible answers. Thank you very much. The Chief Product Officer for Battlestate Games on Escape from Tarkov. That was absolutely incredible. I am your host for the weekend, Elliot, and I am genuinely kind of nervous right now because up on stage with me, for those of you who don't know who this person is, Nikita Buyanov, the founder, the creator of Escape from Tarkov. Make some noise.
Hello, 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 TwitchCon.
You look incredible. The shirt, the sunglasses. It's honestly a pleasure to have you up on stage. How are you doing? Are you enjoying TwitchCon?
Yeah, for sure, as always. TwitchCon is something special because TwitchCon, they are friends, and it's a long-term relationship. So, yeah, we're always happy to have something on TwitchCon and always have something to show you, of course. So, yeah, of course, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I saw your booth in Vegas, and I didn't get a chance to stop by because I was busy with the stage, but it looked incredible, and I never thought, walking past that booth, that I would be talking to you today. It really is an honor. Who else? Who else is joining us up on stage?
It's Damirka.
Damirka.
Yeah. He's on. Usually, he's on the Tarkov TV live streaming. So he's a really good guy, actually.
I could tell. He looks like a good guy, right? It's the kind of guy that if he walks into your house, you invite him in for a cup of tea, for sure. Look, I have some questions to ask you. And I think let's start off by talking a little bit about Arena. Now, we've been playing the new title all weekend on stage, and I mean, it has been the most hyped I've ever seen a LAN stage crowd. Everyone that I speak to who's been playing it in the LAN zone says that it's absolutely incredible. And it's still in beta, right? You just released a new game mode, just released a new map. How much more is going to change? Like, what can we expect to be different in full release?
Of course, it will be a lot of polishing. It will be a lot of things, of changes. So right now, the development cycle is something like we're starting to do something, release it, test it out, and change it on the go. So most likely, at the released version, we will have some new game modes, new locations. Maybe some basic principles of the game will be changed too. There will be a lot of connectivity to the main game, of course, because we treat Arena as a part of the EFT, not only the actual game itself, but also the lore and everything. So eventually, it will be the whole game, like EFT, AFC Arena, with all the stuff connected all together. And of course, we are modifying and upgrading our tournament infrastructure, all of the stuff, tools and everything, to have those lands, like challenges, events based on in Arena. So of course, something will be changed for sure, but in a good way, of course, in the quality and network improvements and so on. So nothing like really big, but still there's a lot of things to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. The game right now is already absolutely incredible. So I think most people are going to be pretty pleased that you're not going to change it up too much. But adding even more, I'm excited. Now, the new game Arena, especially now with Blast Gang, the new game mode, we've all been talking about it behind the scenes. It has so much potential for esports and competition. And even just the show matches in this tournament that we've had on stage have been nail-biting, like really, really tense. And I know that you guys actually already have something in the works. So what can you tell us about the Escape from Tarkov Arena Cup series?
All I can say, they are coming. And yeah, we plan to increase the overall visibility of the whole Arena game and, of course, the EFT itself. So yeah, they're coming. There will be a lot of cool events and cups for sure.
Let's talk about Escape from Tarkov, the original title. Now, I think if there's one thing that has become very, very clear to me in learning about this game, it's how much detail there is. Like the amount of like lore and just even like when we were playing Jeopardy, the game show part we had yesterday. And one of the questions was like, what's the expiration date on the apple juice, right? And like, what's the name of the specific tea, right? So there's so much detail in the game. And we're curious about the lore. Will we find out more? Will we find out why we're escaping from Tarkov?
Of course, of course. So this is actually the main thing right now, because we are preparing the release of the game, finally. And the biggest part of work is creating the storyline quests when you will actually be able to finally escape from Tarkov. Ты в порядке там? Нормально все с тобой? Окей. Не садись ко мне близко, пожалуйста. Отстань. Отстань. Уйди. Уйди, пожалуйста. Sorry. So yeah, the current works is related storyline quests, and the main quest will be the actually escape from Tarkov. And it will be not only one, it will be several of them, and you will finally get it, what the hell is going on in Tarkov, and you will understand what's going on, basically, and you'll be able to escape from it. So yeah, that's the most important thing right now. And of course, there will be more lore things added to the game.
Can you give us any secret lore things that you might be adding to the game?
No.
What about Damirka? Can you tell us? We've lost him.
He doesn't speak English.
We've lost him.
Yeah.
He's got more interesting
He's
things.
under NDA.
He's on TikTok. You guys also have a YouTube channel, right? And I was talking to Dimitri about this behind the scenes. Can you tell us about Chronicles of Fiji?
Chronicles of Ryzhy, right. It's in our own production. We are making it like more than, I think, 1.5 years or maybe 2 years. So all of the stuff, all of the like actors, all of the technical stuff, cameramen and etc. It's all developers. That's the real cool thing about it, because basically all you can see in that mini-series is they are developers, and this is like our side kind of thing. And yeah, there will be more serious, of course, and there will be pretty intensive twists in the scenarios. But also I can say that it will be really important for every Tarkov-loving fan to look deeply into this series, because there will be a moment that we will give you special information within the series.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it tied into the game's
Yeah,
lore?
of course. And it will be pretty important for the game itself, for your experience, and for the release of the game. So something is coming, yeah.
That's really cool. That is really cool. Like, you guys have got, there's a new game entirely in Arena, and you've also got a series that ties into the whole lore aspect of it. Like, I honestly, I don't know how you manage your time, because you're also a DJ, right? Like, how do you have any time left to do anything?
I'm not like the professional DJ. DJ is more like my hobby. I'm also writing music. It's like the same thing. Let's say I like music and everything around it. And yeah, it's a struggle to find some time. It's a struggle, and it's not an easy thing. I would never recommend something like what I'm doing to anyone, but it's exciting at the moment. Sometimes like this, you catch yourself like, okay, that's great, I'm happy. Other than that, it's hell basically, but it's manageable and it's good. So yeah, it's okay.
Stress, just a lot of stress. Just a lot of stress. Look, we are all dying to know when Escape from Tarkov is going to have its full release. I asked Yaro, the Chief Product Officer, who I spoke to yesterday, and he said, I'd love to tell you, but the honor of the announcement has to come to Nikita. So, can you give us any more information? Can you let us know when is the game finally going to come out?
All I can say that it's close. Not so close like tomorrow, of course. But again, I will mention that you all guys who play EFT, who love playing EFT, who love the whole genre we created, you will need to be more attentive for the future stuff that we prepared for you. And that will influence on the release date and additional information about it. So we will try to make it like, it will be not only our like deal, it will be everyone's deal. So we'll try to make something special for everyone. And yeah, that's all I can say, unfortunately.
So not so soon like tomorrow, but soon. Maybe like next week? Like next Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, next week, okay.
Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right, fantastic. We've got that recorded. So clip that, put that
It's
on
not
Twitter.
true, it's not true. Don't believe it. Not next week.
So what we've been, obviously, you've been working so long on this game, and then full release coming up soon. What happens after? There's a lot of questions coming from the community. Like, will there be seasons? Will there be DLCs? Will there be a prestige system? Are you able to give us any insight now?
Actually, yes. So first of all, there will be some kind of seasons, of course, because the vibe-based game cycle is pretty cool for EFT. So you'll have a separate character. It will be wipeable, like seasonal based, and also there will be prestige system, and it will be pretty advanced thing. So you'll be able to not only achieve levels of prestige, you'll also receive some unique stuff like unique dog tags, unique armbands, unique clothing, and it will be kept with you through wipes. So it will be your legacy, and it's a pretty big list of things that you'll be able to get. And also, every single time when you will be starting the new wipe, you will have an option to make some changes to your wipe season, adding some modifiers like drawbacks. For example, if you will try to play without your secure container, you will get more experience, you will have less extraction times, and so on. So it will be some kind of modifiers or something for your seasons in particular. And of course, as I said, like a lot of cool things to get, like dog tags and so on. And the third things is DLCs, of course. DLC is planned. I think the first one will be about the Scav gameplay. So you'll finally be able to level up your Scav. It will be a specific area of the hideout. And basically, it will be expanded game mode specifically to play your Scav with tasks, with like special missions, with upgrading your Scav, with ability to play as a boss, to control your guards, and so on. And yeah, and this DLC will be called Scav Life. Yeah. After that, we'll see. Like the clan update, I believe, clan DLC also will be the special Sniper DLC also. Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah, that was a lot of things. That is amazing. Thank you very much. Now, look, that's the end of my my written down questions. But I did want to ask you as well. You told me yesterday, because you did, I mean, you guys were here for John B's set, right? The drum and bass DJ. And you also DJ. Now, you said it was a hobby, but we all heard you, and it was pretty amazing. You told me you've only been DJing for 2 years?
Yeah, something like that. It's not a hard task to do, basically, to mix things via the decks. It's more important to have like really good music collection and basically understand the basics of the music, of the electronic music, for example. And that's it.
It's easy. You just build different.
It's like to mix, it's not a hard task. Like to actually mix one song to another. The hard part is to have the perfect collection, which will be used on a specific, I don't know, area, environment, mood. So yeah, a lot of playing, a lot of practicing, and that's it. And of course, you need to love this process because it's pretty cool. So I actually would recommend anyone who loves music. It's not only about the EDM, like dance music and so on. You can mix R&B, you can mix rap even. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to, you know, to catch some dopamine.
Yeah. And you have a DJ booth like in your office, right?
Yeah, of course.
I was talking to George, and he was saying that he would be in a meeting room, like with his laptop, trying to take an important meeting, and the wall behind him is just going boom, 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 boom. Will we ever see any of the DJ gear maybe enter into the game as like cool cosmetics?
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm pushing my luck now. Thank you very much, Nick, for coming up on the stage.
Thank you guys for coming to the TwitchCon. Thank you very much.
Come on, make some more noise than that. What an incredible, incredible guest you have been. Thank you very much. And now, a last-minute change. We are going to have Nick and the development team up on stage for a show match playing against
It will be a disaster, for sure.
He's already
We will
sandbagging.
get punished.
Incredible stuff. So you're going to go and play?
Yes.
Up on stage, we're going to get the casters. We're going to have the whole official competitive vibe going on. And, well, you created the game, so you're the best at it, right?
Of course.